안녕하세요, 여러분. 매트입니다. 유난히 힘든 월요일을 잘 버텼습니다. 축하드립니다. 제가 오늘 여기서 비포슬립 5일 동안 읽어주겠는데 제가 한국말을 좀 서툴러서 귀여우겠지만 인트로만 귀여워요. 나중에 영어로 하겠습니다. Hello everyone, I'm on Before Sleep and I'll be reading you guys 5 different chapters for 5 different days. Today's Monday. You worked so hard. So I will read you this really nice chapter and hopefully you sleep to it, get some rest, and let's go. Monday. What shape are you in? I'm not sure when it started, but since some time in my childhood, my gaze was always drawn to the faces of the people around me. It was the different looks on their faces that seemed especially noticeable to my eyes. The look of concern hidden behind my mother's bright smile as she said, "Oh, my son." The emptiness I saw behind my friend's laughter as he giggled, saying, "Bro, isn't this really hilarious?" I was always aware of those fleeting expressions, appearing only to quickly disappear from their faces. Every time that happened, I would ask, "Did something happen? I could tell something's up from your face." Then I'd take them out to eat something delicious or bring them somewhere nice, hoping that my small kindness could brighten them up. Deep down, in the hearts of the ones dear to me. When I'd hear, "Thank you, you made me feel so much better," it touched my heart in a way that went beyond simple satisfaction. The fact that I was someone who could help others, that alone felt like a medal in my life. Since then, I think I've lived my life paying close attention to the faces around me, just in case I might pass by someone struggling through a rough patch. But a friend of mine who knows me well told me that I was a careaholic and that it was my weakness, and that it was just a nice guy syndrome, that I was doing things I didn't have to, all because of my desire for recognition, that I was letting myself be used by others and failing to gain anything for my own good. That, in fact, many people felt I was overbearing because of my behavior, that it was a weakness I needed to fix. This side of me was my weakness. I was shocked to hear that from my friend, but they seemed right, because sometimes I get tired of myself too. After that day, I started to re-examine my actions one by one. When I saw a gloomy look on my friend's face, I pretended not to notice it, afraid they might find it burdensome that I did. And when I felt the urge to help someone in need, I held back, thinking it was probably just an act to make myself feel good. If someone asked too much of me, I'd wonder if I somehow seemed easy to them. I found myself searching for YouTube videos with titles like "How to Say No" and "How to Love Yourself," trying to live according to what the world claims are the right answers for life. But how can I explain this? The more I tried to care less about others, the more time I had for myself. But it didn't make me happy at all. I thought that if I fixed this weakness, I'd become a better person. But instead, the actions I took to fix it only seemed to create new weaknesses, one after another. I became suspicious, sensitive, and fearful, and I didn't like anything about myself. How did I end up like this? One morning, I was heading to my first class of the day. I was walking briskly eager not to miss the attendance check, when I noticed a little boy riding a bike. He was riding so unsteadily that I thought he might fall at any moment. My attention locked onto him. Sure enough, as he turned a corner, he toppled over with a loud thud. Without thinking, I ran over and helped him. Are you okay? Does it hurt? Are you hurt anywhere? No, I'm okay, thank you. But even as he said he was fine, I caught a flicker of anxiety in his eyes. The boy seemed scared to get back on the bike. I'm glad you're not hurt too badly, but aren't you a little afraid to ride again? Where were you headed? I'll walk you there. Really? Thank you. The boy thanked me with a small bow and then gave me a big, bright smile. I felt a lump rise in my throat, as if I had just seen a look I've been longing to see for so long. I walked alongside him, pulling his bike by my side. We chatted about where he was going, why he was riding alone, what kinds of things he enjoyed, and even what he thought my job might be. Before long, we arrived in front of his elementary school. All right, off you go. Have fun today. Even though we'd only just met, I felt a little sad to say goodbye. But I left him and turned to head toward my own school. By now, the first core class had already ended. I pictured my friend giving me a hard time, nagging that I had helped someone else at the expense of my own responsibilities. But I couldn't help but wonder, can this really be a weakness if it makes me this happy? Could it be that what seems like a weakness to others is actually a strength to me? And maybe what other people see as a strength doesn't always feel that way to me. At least for me, this weakness felt like a strength. So much so that I began to think maybe weaknesses and strengths might just be the same thing. The weakness of being a careaholic, of not being able to say no, could actually be a strength of being considerate and kind. The weakness of obsessing over trivial things could be a strength of being meticulous and making fewer mistakes. The weakness of being emotionally volatile and sensitive could be a strength of being artistically in tune with the world. The weakness of feeling restless and mentally unstable could be a strength of being active and passionate. The weakness of seeing things through a negative lens could be a strength of having a perspective that pushes for a better world. Is it really necessary to separate strengths from weaknesses when, in the end, I am the sum of them all? Every one of my so-called weaknesses is what makes me most lovable. You are most natural, most beautiful when you are simply yourself. What about you? If your sharp edges poke someone, that's okay. Just try to soften them a little. But don't ruin who you are, because you are perfectly beautiful just the way you are. Just like I am happy, exactly the way I am. 네. 처음으로 제가 다른 사람한테 책을 읽는데 뭐가 읽어도 감동이 있고 너무 뭐가 다른 사람이 저한테 책을 읽었으면 사랑스러울 것 같아서 너무 좋은 것 같고 따뜻한 마음으로 읽었습니다. 네. 이 질문이 조금 특이하긴 한데 나의 모양은 내가 딱히 원하는 모양은 없는 것 같아요. 뭐가 이거 나다. 그리고 여러분은 이렇게 나를 본다. 그래서 저는 직접은 어떤 모양인지 모르겠지만 여러분이 나중에 한번 댓글에서 얘기해 주세요. 저도 궁금하네요. 스스로 생각하는 단점. 일단은 지금은 나의 한국어입니다. 하지만 그것도 나의 매력이라고 합니다. 제로스들이 그걸 귀엽다고 해줘서 너무너무 감사하고요. 이 책처럼 나의 단점은 나의 힘도 될 수 있다 이런 얘기인데 딱 똑같은 생각입니다. 네, 월요일인데 제일 힘든 날을 잘 버텼습니다, 여러분. 그래서 내가 읽었던 책을 잘 들었으면 좋겠고 오늘도 잠 많이 자고 내일은 화요일인데 그것도 힘드네요. 근데 화이팅! 할 수 있어! 근데 내일은 또 좋게 읽어줄 테니까 화이팅 하자! 사랑해! 바이바이!